What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. I just watched an interview with Vergil Ortiz as he reacts to Jaron Ennis. The interview was conducted by Ellie Sekback. Shout out to him, ES News. I'll put a link in the description. And he was directly asked about, hey, what did you think Jaron Ennis fought against Uisma, Lima? What were your initial thoughts? So that's what I want to go over right now in this video. Vergil Ortiz, he's not a man of many words. So he kept it pretty blunt throughout the interview from what I've seen. And he was like, come on, we all knew how that was going to go. And, you know, pretty much he did what he was expected to do against that level of competition. And I also seen another 54-pounder, Keith Thurman, recently did an interview, and he said he wasn't really impressed. When Boxingego says what the fighters are saying, before the fighters say it, y'all say I'm hating. Y'all say, oh, but Ego, you're a hater. But then the fighters be saying what I said. And the former fighters, the champions, the trainers, I got to be the best in the business, and it's not even close. So I've already outlined it. You could believe me. You don't have to believe me. I have great relationships in boxing. I don't have a problem with any of these fighters. But nobody is safe from constructive criticism. No one is above or beyond, you know, like an untouchable realm where I can't keep it real. Everything that Thurman and Vergil are saying, you're being judged by your peers. The reason why it wasn't super impressive is because it was a Eddie Hearn rematch room special. A guy who was tailor-made for Jaron Ennis to pretty much look good and do what he did, right? You can say whatever you want. Oh, man, it's his first fight at 154 pounds. He needed a tune-up. But here's the problem with Jaron Ennis. Boots is younger than Terrence Crawford factually. He's less accomplished than Terrence Crawford factually. So why would Eddie Hearn, look at what Eddie Hearn's doing. He signed Ben Whitaker, and then they just announced Ben Whitaker's next fight, and it's literally some guy I've never heard of. Like, I'm not being funny. I'm not clowning nobody. We getting straight to the chicken. You have him fighting somebody. It's his first fight, and I literally have never heard of Cuz. Boom. This is Eddie Hearn. Like, okay, I get it. It's your first fight with the person, but at 175, come on, bro. Ben Whitaker could fight. He can fend for himself. He has flash and he showboats and fights, but he's fighting Gavazzi. It sounds like a game or something. Yahtzee or whoever this guy is, right? And to be honest, these style of fights, when Turkey is not fronting the bill for Eddie Hearn, this is what you get a lot of times, right? Where the A-side person is being probably well taken care of, Boots, Ben Whitaker, they're getting comped out, but then penny pinch on the opponent, and ultimately it don't really prove much. Like, Ben Whitaker is a good up-and-coming fighter. Him fighting this guy, you could do all the, like, this looked like a Call of Duty style graphic. You could make the graphic look as good as possible, but no matter what, this is not a great fight. The guy that he just rematched is a better fight than that particular fight. Same thing with Boots Ennis. But when I say it, it's all of a sudden a problem, right? So when Ben Whitaker, I understand he's only 9. He has like 10 fights, right? 9-0 and 1 or something. But him fighting Liam Cameron in a rematch, that was good because the rematch was needed, how the first fight played out. This is backtracking. Same thing with Boots. Boots just fought Stanionis, and despite he's moving up in weight, this is still a backtrack to have Boots fight Lima. And you've seen it was a mismatch. And people are like, oh, you're being hard. No, I'm not being hard. I'm holding Boots is a talented fighter. You got to hold him to a standard. And here's the reality. Like I said a few minutes ago, Crawford is older. He is older and more accomplished than Jaron Ennis as a pro. And his first fight after Errol Spence and a year off was to go up and fight a champion in Israel Madrimov. That has to be given more credit. So that shows that Crawford, he literally went from Errol to move up in Madrimov to move up no tune-ups to fight Canelo. So he fought champion. And Errol was the only one in the same division as him. But it was a masterful performance. So that tells you more about Crawford's breed than Jaron Ennis, who is a talented fighter. It's not a smear campaign against Jaron Ennis. It's just, it got to be stepped up, bro. And people are yelling and screaming because Boots looked amazing versus Lima. But a fight like that, truly, what does it prove? So I understand why Vergil Ortiz and Thurman and others aren't impressed. Speaking of Vergil Ortiz, you cannot deny that his last couple of fights at 54, the competition has been far greater. Fighting Boachuk, fighting Israel Madrimov. These are just simply put harder fights and more established names that he's fighting. And it's funny because you got a lot of people who they'll try to turn it to a black thing, a Mexican thing, a black versus Mexican thing. Bro, it's a fact versus fiction thing. Erickson Lubin is a tougher out for anybody at 54 than Lima. Like, I can't even tell you two people Lima fought. I can tell you who Lubin fought. Charlo, Fundora, Ramos, right? I can tell you all about Jorge Cota. I can tell you all about Lubin. He had the sparring with Edgar Berlanga where he was dropping him. So, again, I know some people, they're going to try to turn it into something, oh, man, you're off code. Bro, there ain't no code when it comes to telling the truth. That just means you being fake. You're a fake person. Virgil is fighting tougher comp so far. So it's really up to Eddie Hearn and Boots to deliver a big fight. Now, Vergil Ortiz was asked about this, but he said he has to lock in and focus on Lubin. I respect that. Hopefully, we get to fight next. Hopefully, Boots just wanted the tune-up. But, again, I feel like you can't get a bunch of praise and be like in the zone that Boots is. Like, he looks immensely talented and not elevate the competition. Because after a while, people will grow tired from that. And even the Philly crowd, I want to say they seem to be a little bit more bored. When Eddie Hearn first signed Boots, he kept bringing him to Philly, right? It was supposed to be the fight with the dude that pulled out. I'm not thinking of his name right now, but that fight fell apart. Then he ended up fighting against David Avocado, and the crowd for the Avocado fight and Stanionis fight and Karen fight, and two of them were in Philly, just seemed more lively. And the other one was Atlantic City, which is East Coast, not too far from Philly, right? Jersey. And it just seemed like a better crowd than Lima. But Lima was such a step down in competition, it's kind of hard to get up for that. You just going to watch Boots massacre somebody. So hopefully we get the Vergil Ortiz fight. I'm always going to keep it fair, keep it realistic, regardless of your race, gender, ethnicity, creed, national pride. I don't care about none of that. We got to keep it real. And the reality is Vergil Ortiz versus this man, Lubin, a far more dangerous fight. Because to be honest, I know people picking Lubin. Truth be told, actually, I know people picking Lubin. They think he could pull it off, right? Nobody was picking Lima. And this is what I said from the beginning. So that is the reaction from Vergil Ortiz. Subscribe for more boxing.